guests, welcome to today's Big Brother 18 updates and spoilers. Our house guest of the day is Catherine B. Happy birthday! Hope you're having an awesome day, spending it with family and friends. Seriously, I hope it's amazing. Everybody, wish Catherine a happy birthday in the comments. And if you guys want to be house guests today, check out our Patreon link in the info box below. Alright, so this is crazy. I've got to let you guys know, like, this one is a lot of fun. There's a lot of... It's exciting. Okay, so Victor and Paul are starting to get a little bit nervous because they want Zakiya out this week. And I don't know if that's going to happen. But Victor reports to Paul that the group seems to want Michelle out. The group seems to want Michelle out. So Paul is pissed. There is a freaking mouse party up there. But anyway, Paul is pissed because when he was HOH last week, he wanted to get Bridget out, and they were all like, no, we're gonna get rid of Day. And he went along with it. And he just wants something good, okay? He wants something done that he wants. So, that doesn't make sense. But he's pissed that they're not, you know, doing what he wants this week. So, they're talking through it, and they feel like it benefits everyone except for them to get rid of Michelle this week. Michelle's not coming after them, so they want to keep her. And then Zakiya is freaking a puppet for Pauly, so that's not going to help them. She answers to Pauly. She's all enchantress for Pauly. Okay, so Victor is then talking about, again, how he's nervous because everybody else left in the house, if Michelle goes, is going to be a pair, except for them and Bridget. And Victor's just like, how did this happen? Maybe y'all let it happen. It didn't just happen, okay? Okay. So then Paul's like, oh, well, we'll be a pair. Friendship. I mean, for real, though, like, they kind of are already a pair. They don't have that, like, romantic aspect to their relationship, but I kind of assumed that they were a pair, right? But anyway, they are upset again about Michelle possibly going home. They feel like they can't really fight to keep her this week because it's going to mess up both of their games, and they don't want to cause all that tension amongst the guys. Alright, so then Paul goes to the safari room to tell Pauly all about this conversation with Victor, because I'm pretty sure that Paul is loyal to Pauly before Victor, for now anyway. But they're all whisper, lies and deception. And Pauly's like, yeah, everybody wants Michelle out this week because of her POV speech type thing. Remember, because Michelle decided to call out Pauly during her speech and bring up how many competitions he's won, and she's all like, he's dangerous, he's gotta go. Agreed. But anyway, he's like, Michelle's gotta go. This is his plan for the double eviction. He wants to nominate Nicole and Zakiya. Yeah, right. I don't see that happening. And then backdoor Bridget. I do think that his target for next week is Bridget, but I really don't see him nominating Nicole and Zakiya. I think he wants someone else to nominate Nicole and Zakiya and backdoor Bridget, but I don't see him doing that himself. So he's telling Paul we should keep Victor safe so that he can win the next HOH after the double eviction and take out James for us. Okay. Honestly, we've seen Pauly say that to Paul and Victor, and then when he's talking to Corey and James, he's saying we're going to get rid of Victor. So I honestly think that he's not really loyal to either side 100%. I think he's waiting to see who wins HOH, and then he's going to go with that. I don't think he picked one side over the other for sure, but I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know. So anyway, Paul brings up that Victor is nervous about all the pairs in the house, and Pauly's just like, yeah, well, we could get rid of one of the girls or whatever, like, we gotta keep him happy. So they want to get the board together and figure everything out as a group. Okay. So, this is where things start to get exciting. So, Natalie and Bridget were having a strategy chat in the kitchen, and this was like Spy Girls reunion tour. You know, like when the Spice Girls reunited and everybody freaked out? I wasn't a huge fan of the Spy Girls when they first formed, but like, Natalie and Bridget talking game again gets me really excited. I'm like, because they might actually do something, please. So, we know that Natalie is trying to pull Bridget back in because she's noticing that Victor is trying to pull in Bridget and she wants to get there first. So she's trying to make Bridget feel better about James. So Natalie is telling her, like, I'm not going to leave this house without winning the HOH. I want to win at least once. I'm ready to make big moves. I'm not afraid. And then she's telling Bridget, I only trust you and James. And Bridget's like, I don't trust James. He freaking put me up on the block after he promised that he wouldn't, and he took out Frank, my #1 ally. So, like, there's a lot of issues there. So Natalie's like, well, I want to tell you this. James did not want to put you guys up on the block. Paulie is the one who said that we should put you up, or sorry, that James should put you up, and a lot of other people were behind that too, like Nicole, Corey, etc., etc. So Bridget's like, yeah, that's great and all, but ultimately it was still James's decision to put me on the block. So she's like, I want to be clear, I'm not going after James, but it is difficult to trust him. Like, we're going to need to work through that if we're going to try and make something happen here. So then they're talking about all the different relationships and connections they're seeing in the house. And they're talking about how Paulie is running things right now. Everybody trusts him. They all think they're going to the end with him. So Natalie's like, yeah, well, he's going around saying that you're a threat. And I've been defending you to people. I'm telling everybody you're not a threat. So it's going to be interesting to see if Natalie and Bridget link back up again. I'm like, I'm for it. I'm here. Let's do it. So James and Corey were playing pool outside, and Paulie joined them. He's telling them all about his conversation with Paul from earlier, and he's like, Victor's worried about the couples, and Corey just starts, he's going off a little bit. He's like, if I win freaking HOH, I'm putting up Paul and Victor together. And the guys are just like, whoa, really? So Corey's like, yeah, Paul has been going around telling people that Nicole and I are voting Michelle out this week, and he doesn't like that. He doesn't like his name being thrown out there, and he's like, I don't care who goes, and he's telling everybody I want Michelle out, blah, blah, blah. So then Paulie is like, let's slow down a little bit. Paul is still bringing us information. He's useful to us. And remember when Victor wasn't here for like 2 weeks? Paul was super loyal. So if we get rid of Victor again, we'll have Paul 100%. So the guys are like, yeah, I see what you're saying. So then Paulie is still pushing his eviction order. He wants Michelle out this week, Bridget out next week, and then... So he's like, if Victor wins HOH, we could sacrifice one of our girls. Disgusting. Okay, so then they're talking about how Victor wants to split up the couples, but they're realizing that this is actually kind of good for them in a way, because Victor, when he says that, he means he wants to get rid of the girls. He wants to go to Final Five with the guys. And James and Corey are like, yeah, that'd be really cool. Like, that'd be so much fun. So Corey's like, I guess we could keep him around for a while. Okay. So Nicole and Zakiya were chatting as Nicole was doing her hair, and she's like, you know what, Zakiya? I'm going to let you know some info right now. Paul and Victor both want you out this week, and we all had to work and convince them to keep you. So she wants to know who is actually on her side. So she's definitely trying to pull Zakiya back in. She's been, you know, straying a little bit. But Nicole was talking about Corey with this earlier. She wanted to let Zakiya know this specific bit of information about how Paul and Victor, especially Paul, wanted Zakiya out this week. So Nicole's like, yeah, Paul and Victor are trying to get closer to Paulie by getting rid of you. And then she just starts hardcore throwing Paul under the bus. And Zakiya's a little bit surprised because she's been getting closer to Paul lately. And she's just like, I can't believe that he would say all those things and he wants me out. So then Nicole shares this conversation with Paulie. She's so proud of herself. She's like, yeah, I told Zakiya all about Paul wanting her out and how Victor initially wanted Michelle out, and then Paul convinced her, no, we should get rid of Zakiya. So she also says that Zakiya didn't seem to think that Paulie knew that she was going up on the block. Oh, hell yeah, he did. He was the one who told Victor to put her up. So Paulie is really pleased with all of this information and how great Nicole did. So he's just like, good job, Nicole. And she's all, Okay, so then Zakiya and Pauly were chatting outside, and she also tells him about the chat with Nicole. So Pauly's got to be feeling real good right now. He's getting both sides of this conversation. They both reported back to him. So then they were talking about this theory that's been going around the house that Paul and Victor are trying to pull in Bridget and Michelle to make some group type thing to go after the couples. I mean, it's not really happening. They are getting closer to them, but they haven't really talked about going after Pauly and Nicole and all them. So Zakiya was mentioning how she's throwing Michelle under the bus again. Let's be real. She's mentioning how Michelle's going around saying that she's going to blow stuff up this week. She's going to try to wreck people's games on her way out. And Pauly gets so freaking angry. I got some Cody flashbacks because Pauly was like, I'm going to call her out. I'm going to call her. Remember when Cody would say that about everybody, and then did any calling out happen? No. So I don't know if this is actually going to happen, but he was ranting about Michelle. He's like, I carried her all this way, and now she's going to turn on her alliance. What the hell is that? She's up on the block because of you. What? Okay, so then he's like, I want to embarrass Michelle on national TV, make her look like a freaking loser. He talks about how she's this big super fan and she sucks. Ugh. Remember a while back when Pauly said that he doesn't like when people kick other people when they're down and like everybody's against them? Okay, so anyway, this morning, Michelle and James were chatting. First of all, Michelle slept like all day yesterday, which I think was a brilliant move on her part. Seriously though, like you don't want to campaign too early in the week because things could change a million times before the eviction. So I think it's good to lay low until, you know, like Tuesday, Wednesday, then try to seal the deal. So Michelle is telling James, I really want either you or Natalie to win this thing if it's not me. And she's like, I never thought I'd be saying that, but I really like you guys now. So then she's talking about how she doesn't want to see somebody like Paul or Corey or Pauly win because she feels like their families have money. I would just say because they're douchebags, but James is like, honestly, it's all about who played the best game. And I want to know from you guys, if you were on the jury, would you take, like, people's wealth into consideration when you're voting? Personally, I would not. I would vote for whoever played the best game, but I know that is a factor for some people, so I want to know what you guys think. So then Michelle is like, I'm worried that people are not going to see how big of a threat Pauly is and that he's controlling the house. He's been controlling people's HOHs. Whoever he wants to go, goes. And he's never been on the block as the target. Yes, he's gone up as a pawn, but he's never been in any real danger. So she's telling James, if I am going this week, I want to help out my friends before I go. So she's like, I'm freaking blowing people's games up. Hell yeah. So then she tells him, if I do stay and I win HOH, I'm targeting Pauly and Nicole. So James is like, that's awesome, but you need to be really careful with your campaigning because that could end up sending you out the door. Like, if they catch wind of that, that could make it even worse for you, so be careful. So then Michelle is talking about how she regrets evicting Tiffany, Frank, and Day because she sees what's going on now. She's starting to realize a lot of the stuff that Frank was saying was for real. I think a lot of people are upset that you freaking clowns evicted them. But anyway, I'm wondering at this point, where does James actually stand? Because we saw when he was talking to Natalie the other night that he said he was thinking about keeping Michelle. But now we've seen him talking to other people like, oh yeah, we're going to get rid of Michelle. It's all great. So I'm not really sure where his head is at this point. I'm waiting to see another conversation with Natalie because that's, you know, when he's the most honest, I feel. All right. So then Victor got the HOH camera today. On an unrelated note, Michelle fell through the patio furniture. It like separated and she fell to the ground. It was actually really funny, but whatever. You had to see it. So then, this is good stuff, guys. Michelle, Natalie, and Bridget, they were all talking. They're trying to cook up a plan for the vote this week. So remember how I said before that it's like a Spy Girls reunion tour? It's like Spy Girls featuring big meech. Like, they brought in a guest artist to kind of like fill a gap if somebody left the group to go solo or something. So Michelle is like, here's the deal. I need 3 votes to stay this week if James uses his care package power to help me out and eliminate 2 votes against me. So, I mean, this power could have a huge impact this week. So, Bridget's like, yeah, I really want you to stay, Michelle, even though we've had our differences in the past. And I think she genuinely means that. So, Michelle's like, I'm not coming after you guys. I'm not coming after James or Victor. So then they're talking about that. And then Bridget brings up an important point. She's worried that James is not going to have the guts to make a big move this week and go against Pauly. All 3 of these girls see that Pauly is running stuff right now, but James is all, I'm going to do what everybody wants. Like, he's afraid to make waves. So Bridget's saying we need to get enough people behind this to convince James to use his power to help you. So then Michelle and Bridget were talking again later, and, you know, they're talking about how Pauly apparently is intimidated by strong, independent women in this game. Stamp! Whenever a girl speaks up, he's like, oh, she's gotta go. He's only cool with keeping the girls that are in the showmances because he feels like he can control them. And I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to agree with that. So then they're talking about how they need more support for James to use his power. They feel like they're gonna need Paul possibly, but they're not sure they're gonna be able to pull him out of Pauly's butt. I mean, he's pretty far up there. So then Bridget is warning Michelle, you need to be careful with your campaigning, especially when you're talking to Victor, because Victor's going to tell Paul everything, Paul's going to tell Pauly everything, and it's just going to be a mess. So it's going to be really interesting to see what's going on here. I think maybe with the diary room's help, they could convince James to help out Michelle this week. Let's be real, you know the diary room is going to be pulling some strings. I think so anyway. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Who's going? I feel like it's going to be exciting these last 2 days before the vote. But let me know. And it's double eviction this week. So until tomorrow, much love.